Let them come and give you a list of people. I can give you thousands of people from all the states, including Abuja, that we have touched. So we're doing our duty, and we pray to God to give us more blessing, so we can reach out to more. I'm not a damn I don't have the resources, but yet, out of the people that we make, we try our best. So I want to thank you so much. Waiting for other people's contribution. I won't wait for anybody before I make my own contributions. Let everybody make their own little contributions. Even if you have nothing, if it's only words that you have, use your words positively, and let's change Nigeria together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dele Momodu. I really appreciate your time. And we made this request less than a few days ago, and within 24 hours, we granted our request. I really appreciate that. I also want to appreciate Abayomi. Yeah, Abayomi was the person that made this process. Yomi, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Olom of Debbie, can you please help us give your closing remarks for our Dele Momodu that you can have our next speaker?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dele Momodu. You said it also. I love your insights, and I've always said it so many times. We're here to agree to disagree in a respectful manner. I mean, a lot of people are disagreed about, but at the end of the day, what we want is a better country that we can move forward, and everybody has a part to play. You know, I mean, you've been playing this part for over 20 years, and I thank you very much. You're trying your best, and history will judge you. Maybe you like it or not. The bottom truth is, as a Nigerian, no matter who you are, everybody has a part to play. There's no bigger fish, there's a smaller fish. But we get there sooner rather than later. But thank you very much indeed for taking your time out tonight. I mean, this afternoon, emotional day for every Nigerian. And I'd love to see you whenever you're in London soon. Maybe we could have coffee, maybe nice.
Yes, certainly. Yes, you know? Certainly. Thank you.
And have some talks, like we can't talk on this platform, sir. You know, but definitely I look forward to that. Even if it's nice bridge of Harrow, don't worry, that will be a meet that day.
So thank you, and a special thanks to Yomi Shemowo. If he's listening to us, he was the one who invited me.
Yeah, Yomi is listening. Yomi is listening.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I call him Yomi of Glow. He's such a great guy. He handles all my telephones. You know, whenever I need a phone, he knows what to do. Thank you, Yomi.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you, sir. And have a blessed day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Bye. Sister Andy Kato, Tosin, can you introduce Mrs. Kato, please? The mic is yours, Tosin. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Olom of Debbie. Ladies and gentlemen, this is EndSars Discourse in honor of 1 year anniversary of the EndSars protest. We've had our first speaker, Basharun Dele Momodu, and we'll be having our second speaker, Ondikato. So let me tell you something small about Ondikato. The first time I met her was on Twitter. She was running for an election in Kaduna State, and what made me know her was that some people were running a very bad campaign against her. Oh, she did fundraising from people, and she ran away with their money, blah, blah, blah. And one thing about me is that if I don't really join into drugs, but I kept quiet, I started following her. Then one day I met her through Hamza Lawa at Abuja. She came to host a program for Christian Aid, and she did so well. She was I don't know if she can remember that day. She was the moderator, and I even made a very funny joke. I said, wow. And then, so this is you. Because I've been laying anime, I thought I would see someone that was very, very massive. But when I saw him, it was such a very simple and no airs around her. And she has been so passionate about Nigeria, passionate about women's rights, passionate about justice. See, let me tell you this. The only thing that you can do to stop Undi from talking is to kill her. That's the standard. Nothing else can stop her from talking. She doesn't worship money. So she's not the type of people that will say, oh, take 1,000 and stop talking. No. If you give her the money, she will collect the money and even expose you. And she has been a part of all struggle that has been youth-oriented. And as in case some people don't know, part of those that have paid the huge sacrifice for the EndSars is Undikato. I won't really go much, but people around her know what she has suffered because of the protest. But as I've said, Nigeria is our country. I'm going to talk about it. Today is all about EndSars, and if you're on this platform, kindly use your share button to share this space. Let people join us. I can see a lot of people that want to speak. Everybody will speak today. Today is actually our day. So use your share button. Let people join us on this space so that they can be a part of the connection. And the connection still remains building a new nation that works. We have to build this conscience. Like the information coming from now is that they've started shooting again at the toll gates, showing tear gas canisters. And I'm like, what is this problem? Why is Lagos State government doing this to us? Why is Nigeria police doing this to us? However, nobody can take away our voice. Okay, you send us away from the toll gate, no problem. Come and send us away from the Twitter now. You have manned the Twitter. Yes, we are still having a conversation. So today is our day, and we have to make it count. We have more than 1,000 people in this group, and we need more people to join us. So use the share button. Let others join us. At this juncture, please join me as we receive Undikato.
Thank you very much indeed, Tosin. I'd like to, obviously a few people probably seen Indicator on Twitter, NG, on TV, AIT, Al Jazeera. But I could reassure and tell everybody, one of the most intelligent Nigerian women you ever come across is this lady. If I had the power to elect, maybe to pick 3 women that will run Nigeria, Indicator is one of my top 3 women. Amazing, someone you learn a lot from, and just a wonderful all-round human being who's always fought for good governance in our society. And someone like Indicator, things will get better in our society. Indicator, good afternoon, madam. How are you? The mic is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Sorry to keep you waiting. My apologies. I know you've been waiting.
No problem. I'm sure you've seen enough expletives in your DM.
My apologies.
I'm also used to just being introduced as Indicator Executive Director, Dele Foundation.
Okay.
So yeah.
Probably the reason why.
Thank you so much.
Obviously, you're my friend as well. So, but yeah, go ahead, please. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay. So straight to the point. A lot of the conversations we've had today, I would have loved to go back to the conversation we're trying to have with Dele Momodu and just pick on a couple of things. But let me go straight to mine. Many of the things that we're talking about today is centered around something, consequences, justice. And Nigeria absolutely lacks this. And my conversation is squarely around this. We've seen EndSars, right? And I wanted to tweet this thing today. The day that the shooting happened that night, the name of a military officer was bandied around. And then that military officer came out to say, I'm not the one. Then the name of another military officer came out that this is the person. And since then, just somehow it has fizzled. Like the person's name is not front and center. We're not asking about, is it the battalion, I don't know what they call it, that went with him to that place. Today, I can't even hear his name. He has just gone back into normal society. The lack of consequences. For our politicians, the lack of consequences. For people who have done one thing or the other, when they pop up, you try to talk about it and like, why are you a hater? Are you God? That's the funny one. Are you God? Are you God? You should judge. It's so many things that more than any other society in Nigeria, and oddly, within Nigeria, you would see that, a person has committed a genocidal act, and young people will be at his desk to learn leadership from him. And we're still wondering why we're where we are. What are we trying to struggle for? What are we striving for when injustice and all the other children that it breeds, including corruption, is our norm? Like it's something that we finish and, you finish like, when you finish EndSars, you go back and just with your friend like, my guy, as in, your friend's house whose father stole money, like the way this government are doing, things are so tough. And the person's father will be commenting too. He too has not faced any consequences. Everything we're looking at this nation, it started from one point. One person got away with an injustice. And then another, and then another, and then another, and it became our norm. And here we are today. Hold on, please.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It has become our norm. So when we speak to the Nigerian state and we look at the lack of sacredness, I pointed that out in my comment, that Nigerians don't know, this part is too much. This is a thing that I'm not going to play these games with. I'm not going to play the networking game. And I think that is why also I pointed to that ostentatiousness earlier on. Growing up in a society that socializes you towards hustle. Is that hustle culture? And it's not like hustle is not a good thing, working hard. No, but within the context of Nigeria, what it is. Grab, 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 grab at any cost. There is nothing that cannot be used to grab by the Nigerian. There's nothing, including EndSars. It's right there embedded in our conversations and the crisis around that. There's nothing that cannot be used to grab. And depending on our relationship with the people or the persons involved or the person involved, we're like, accountability. No. Pause first. You're a hater. You're this. You're that. And if at no level we speak to accountability in Nigeria, I listened to a conversation today, and in that conversation, the person was asked first. Person who has supported the mass murder of Shiites is here. A person who has supported ethnic cleansing is here. A person who referred to something as insurrection leading to the death of many is here. What informs this thought process? It's the thought process of the average Nigerian. We coddle these things and we don't think we're doing it. We just think it's part of it. I'm doing what I can in my little space, and that person should do. But this should be so well-rounded. Where does injustice get to lead to where we are in Nigeria? It starts from one person doing something that they're not supposed to do. And then the government that we're supposed to have a social contract with to protect us, to deliver, does not do something about it. Or the society that has a social contract with the person does not do something about it. And what happens? At the end of the day, we start interpreting laws onto ourselves. Kind of like where I come from in Southern Kaduna. Or in Southern Kaduna, when you pick up arms, the government pounds on you. So let's look at the Hausa Fulani dichotomy now. Hausa vigilantes are now getting guns. And in the north, if you want to know how cheap a thing can get, enter northern Nigeria and ask for it. Locally made guns are now 3,500 naira. You heard me right. You know what that means and the implication for an average country, or a country as broken down as Nigeria. So now, Hausa vigilantes take these locally made guns and they enter Fulani communities or communities that have amirs or little emirs that are Fulanis, and they shoot and kill all of, we don't want to hear any conversation again. When civil society is having this conversation, if it's a Fulani person sitting there, he's going to have a one-sided conversation. If it's another person sitting there, he's going to think about his scholarship with Oxford. This person is going to think about this, another person is going to think about that, and then they'll end on the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable. We must all sit at the table and all of those things without consideration for, again, how we got here. The injustice and the reality of what led us to this path. We'll cover it up. And if one person wants to talk, no. I was on the Peace and Conflict Resolution Committee in people from Southern Kaduna and Fulani leaders. And I remember in that meeting, I said, we don't know who is in our bushes. That's what I said. I said, the forests of Nigeria, the ungoverned spaces in Nigeria, people traverse through these places daily. And these people are not identified. And I think that the best thing to do right now will be to ensure that people who traverse these spaces are identified. That is, let us have some level of identification, right? For our headsmen, for people who are in these bushes, so that at least if they have a tag or something, forest rangers or whatever it was government was talking about that at that time under the Ministry of Interior could actually identify them. And then if we see groups that we cannot identify, danger. There was a lot of shouting. No, we're not going to do that. How dare you? So you want to tell me that me as a Nigerian, I should carry something to the bush? I should look at where we are now, 2021. And the conversation is back to that one place. Maybe we should be able to identify the people. The sincerity of conversations are off. When you talk to somebody about Nigeria, you notice, I don't know if it's just me, I'm hoping that in the comments I will get that back. There's a glossing over it. Do you know who I am, what I've done, and what our fathers did this, and we met with this person, and that person was so great, and that, yes, but these are the issues. Oh, the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable. We must all come together to make Nigeria one at all costs. What is the at all costs? It's, of course, the Nigerian life. That's the cost. It's the easiest cost. When you want to break down the conversation, the Nigerian does not want to have it. Because yet again, we're tying things down to a lack of justice. It's embedded in us. Cover it, and move on. Hustle culture. Every single avenue in Nigeria is a space for furthering career. And I'm not saying we should not further our career, but are there any sacred areas? It's a space for furthering career. It's a space for networking. So before we think of speaking truth to power, we're first thinking about how we can benefit. Before we think of doing a thing, even in the nature in which we speak truth to power, is with more consideration for what we stand to benefit from it than the reality of the situation. Immediate gratification is the death of the average Nigerian. Every single day we wake up and me. What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? It is not normal. And we tend to point to these places in America. No, there is literally no magazine, not even Forbes. And to be honest, some of us do not read Forbes that highly. We look at Bernie Madoff after what has been said after Bernie Madoff, and like, look at him, he owns a Ferrari. So let's go to Bernie Madoff. People, that is what the cancel culture is. People literally start taking these people off their platforms. In other countries, if you received an honorary doctorate, you lose the honorary doctorate. If your music was on platforms, the platforms start taking your music. It's just business. What is Apple's business with R. Kelly? What is YouTube's business with R. Kelly? But it's the principle of the thing that you do want in the future, that a person who is this powerful should not be able to do this again. That is how you ensure that they don't do it again. You don't ensure they don't do it again by having conferences and speaking about we don't want more people to do it again when there is no concept of justice for people who have done it. Or we try to get a better Nigeria where the leaders are better, where people do not look towards Yahoo. But every single action by everybody, by everything, by every institution, every person with an ounce of a platform is pointing towards what? We intend to continue to be in bed with persons who do these things. Number two, we intend to show you over and over again that within the context of Nigeria, there are absolute and damning consequences for doing the right thing. Yes, I said so. Pelumi is dead and in his grave today because he did a video of a politician who brought out a gun and shot 2 people. The politician is part of Tinubu's campaign team Swagger today. Pelumi is dead. And when you talk to an average young person, what does that tell the person? A person who has not gone through all our behavioral change conversation. Who does the person want to be? A Pelumi who did what it is he needed to do at that time for the interest of the nation without consideration for his own personal safety? Or the politician in his Jeep with access, or not in his Range Rover, latest, tinted, with access to a gun, licensed or unlicensed, without consequences, who could shoot 2 people in broad daylight, get away with it, and liaise with law enforcement to ensure that the person who documented this is dead. If I sincerely ask you, which of these 2 people you want to be today, who would you pick? Sorry, guys, please, she's the driver. Who would you pick? A country that keeps training us, and I'm saying this again, that in our little ways, every day we show by hobnobbing. Every day we show by saying, look, we know he did like this, but in this space he's functional now. Like the absolute gaffe I just made today on Twitter by suggesting that David Mark should be the chairman of PDP. And Idoma people are dragging me for filth, as they should. At what point do we decide that we are going to have sacred areas that a person who is contesting for president should be afraid to tell happy birthday to Yakubu Gowon on a public platform? That the conversations are going to run that deep, that person go fear, like, what would happen to me if I post this thing for a person who led a genocide that led to the death of 3 million people? It's all business as usual. I really want us to look deep down. The way we cuddle. Before we call somebody out, let's cuddle it with respect. I understand culture. Where I come from, we do have respect. But also it's a lot tied to what you do, who you are as a person. And by what you do, what you do is not that you are the president of World Bank. No, it's how you live your life day to day. So if you come to Kafanchan as an elder and you're misbehaving and you want to speak in spaces where elders are speaking, a young person will stand up and tell you, sir, shut up. And the entire village will be like, yes, this person. In spaces where you used to be an elder in church, you can no longer sit as an elder in church. And our pastors are poor. These are things I expect. And when you point this out and you're like, oh, we're trying to respect. What exactly are you trying to respect? What exactly? Is age enough of a platform or enough of a barrier for a person to continue to misbehave, for a person to put your future in jeopardy, and for you to decide, no, in my culture, we used to prostrate to every older person, so I'm just going to take it. And can you just approach this criminal with respect? Is that really enough for you to sacrifice your future for? Are you really not angry enough? Cuddling these things mean we're not angry enough. We're not angry enough. There's also the argument, we need to, if we don't come to the table with some of the, I've been there, done that. And on the table, it's a lot of cluelessness still. So when we speak truth to power and we ask people beyond rhetoric, you're talking about a greater nation, you are telling us, and this should, I really would have hoped that this is not a huge sub, but here we are. You're telling us that the future belongs to young people, and now is the time. And you have platforms that could actually put these young people front and center, and yet your platform is still exalting a certain class of people. And let's not say truth by halves. It's not only politicians that are a problem. It's not. Somewhere embedded in this conversation is a generational conversation. There are people in the business sphere or in the business space who have this issue with us because this generation thinks this way and the other generation thinks that way. This is a rent-seeking country. Everybody, a pastor is involved in the political space. A businessman, billionaire businessman, he's in the political space. So why are we trying to separate? No, this one's no, that one. No. Everybody's involved. So even if we're saying, oh, I don't give my platform to politicians, you still give it to older business people. Young people are still struggling to be taken seriously to the point where a person who runs a business that has hundreds of thousands of young people in Nigeria, their business, somebody can just come out and say, this business is not legit, they are going to run away with your money. That person has not received enough of a platform from everywhere serious. You people are not looking. You're not looking enough. I'm trying to not say the name, but hey, pick it best. You're not looking enough at these young kids to say, we're going to speak enough of these people to legitimize them to the point. You're not. The other part I was saying was a conversation around creating a youth wing or a younger space in NESG for young people. Or the one where they will invite one young person in a rapidly growing space where young people are beginning to set up multi-billion dollar businesses. And they're giving us that one opportunity. We're like, yes, they allowed me. They allowed this one person to come. When this is a space that should be dominated by us. So if you are serious that you mean this for young people, why? And those of us that are in the media too, why? Why are we more interested in what these older people are saying? And I'm not saying that, be ageist about it and shut them out. But you know how much power the media has in agenda setting. You know what anybody in mass can tell you what gatekeeper theory is. So you know that in the rhetorics of anybody who owns a media platform that is telling you that it is a new day, a new time, the major sign of that rhetoric is silencing what you do not want to see and platforming what you want to see. And it's in that same culture of coddling bullshit that a person who would have a platform, even like this one, you would see something going like, I still have a platform. I just want to ensure that he's a newsmaker. This person is a great person. He'll come and speak on EndSars Memorial. Whether or not the person deserves to be there, but the person is popular enough, and I want the person to be on my platform. So therefore, this person must come. These are the issues.
oh, it's not sensible to not. At what point will we actually rise up and like, no, everything around this thing, we're going to do something about it. Let me move to another area that we haven't really. I think that part of my agenda setting should go with this too. Carrying Northern Nigeria along in our behavioral change conversations. During EndSars, a major, and I know it's tricky for us to say anything that we think is a flaw in the protests. It's not a thing we want to accept. It's not this is not the time, it's too soon, it's too this, it's too that. But we must speak about certain things. During EndSars, and with many other things, the conversation around Northern Nigeria, we hadn't really, I know who should have done it. It was a decentralized conversation, but maybe one or two of us, like me, any other person, we should have stopped to pause to, okay, this is beyond just police brutality. It's about the fight for our nation. What language would
Oh, Nigeria didn't join Nigeria. Joka, Makwara, Nikiki, Wamoboda, Diginaka, Quagenti, one next country can judge. Help me while you report to get all the game or don't get all go in a young you are, Makayaku for 11. You were all as Baggy Bumba. I said, no, you were even taking a go.
Something will happen. In other spaces, it's very easy for a child of a nobody to raise his voice and keep going. In the North, no, it's the class divide is so wide that even in civil society, the major players there are still part of the upper class, are still part of a space that, okay, this person's mother stayed in this person's house and is married to this person's brother that was married to that person's sister. People in civil society are still there. In the media, the same thing, if you trace it. Because for you to come out of the abject poverty that is Northern Nigeria and be able to operate in certain spaces, you know where your leg has matched. And these places, especially in Northern Nigeria, that we have left as a dark space, nature abhors a vacuum. It does. So if you are not engaging that space, nature will find something to engage it. So it means that the major voices that are telling Northern Nigeria, oh, this is the conversation, this is the way to go, this is what should happen, are telling them something. And that something greatly differs from what we are talking about. In fact, Northern Nigeria actually faces police brutality, but just not enough avenues to put it out that they face police brutality. That's number one. And number two, not enough coverage of this police brutality. Like I have said, almost everyone is related to someone that did someone. So it's the upper class that run most of these spaces. So it will hardly make the news. BBC Africa Eye, I think that's what it's called, right? Actually did a whole session on police brutality in the North and how these poor boys suffer. I think two of them, when they came out, there was one that when they came out, they were not speaking, one died. It's not a conversation in Northern Nigeria because the expendability of the Northern life, the best way to describe how the average Northern Nigeria person lives, and by Northern Nigeria, I'm talking of core North, that would be Hausas, Opora Fulani people, all of that. People from where I come from too, is if you watch Lord of the Rings, if you remember, I think the orcs and the urukais that Saruman creates and just put out like no value, just go out and fight. If they cut you down, if they kill Gandalf, it's a big thing for you, right? Imagine Gandalf being a person from Southern Nigeria, and imagine an orc being a person from Northern Nigeria. If they kill Gandalf, if they kill any of the elves, oh my God, an elf fell. But in those battles, thousands and thousands of orcs were slaughtered, and you saw no value to an orc life. That is what our lives are down here. And there is no conversation about these things, about the fact that, oh, a Hausa boy should not normalize having to sleep outside. That is his life. It's just normal. And the leader that is passing and throwing money at him. I know we experience this in all parts of the country, but I'm telling you, you have not seen how bad it is here. It is so bad that people are destined from generation to generation to be house helps. And I'm not saying this as, oh, that is not a job that has dignity. But I reckon that if today I'm somebody's maid, I'm building towards a better generation for my children. No. In Northern Nigeria, in many spaces in Northern Nigeria, if I am Oluomo's house, and please, Oluoma of Debbie is the person I'm making reference to. If I am the young house help that was kept in their house to grow, my children will be birthed within the context of that home. They will find another house help that works in the house, a boy, the gate man, something, to marry me. I will give birth to children. And then the madam of the house, her own children, will pick my children one by one as they are marrying off to go and continue as maids and servants in their own homes. These are critical conversations. The religious conversation in northern Nigeria is more political than it actually is religious. It is more a class struggle, keeping people in a particular place. And as we continue to treat that area as a no-go area, they are increasingly exposed to people who are going to keep going there to tell them something. If you don't have an imam who is like, what is the name of this man, this sheikh from Niger State, who is very liberal and his ideas are so in tune with the 21st century, Sheikh Lemu. If you do not have a Sheikh Lemu, more Sheikh Lemus propagating what should happen in northern Nigeria, you would have more extremist imams there. And we are not checking these spaces. There are no systems of checks and balances. There are no systems that look, again, we'll go back to justice, that look at this person was a certain way, this person was a certain way, should not be able to. And we're not having that space. So when we are talking, we need to go back to what can northern Nigeria relate to. I was part of the strategy team for a major political party in the last presidential election. And I and a good friend of mine, a young man, I think it's Dr. Nuruddin. He was a minister under Jonathan at 32 years old, brilliant young man from Jigawa State. And I remember the two of us northerners there, nobody was listening. I identify as middle belt, of course, but within the political context of Nigeria, we're put on the northern Nigeria. And the foreign experts in the election and southerners there, they had made up their mind that the conversation around the election were jobs. We're like, no, that can't be, jobs is not another conversation. Jobs, but nobody wanted to listen. It's that dark space. So as we continue to be angry, but we see physically children of elites, people, the upper class in northern Nigeria, they taunt us, and you think the taunt is for me and you. The taunt is more for the average northerner. They say, the numbers, the Kardashian states, they are coming. Who are the people in the Kardashian states? The orcs, Saruman's orcs, created for nothing more than the need to use these numbers to do something. And as we refuse to engage them, the more it is that population is at the control, the absolute mercy of these people to do what they wish, to tell them what they want to continue to sink them into poverty as they feel like, to continue to promote the kinds of conversations that tune them in a certain way. Northerners are not animals. They know what they want to say. They know the issues. See them protesting. We are not platforming their protests. See them talking. We are not listening. See them trying to say we're dying and we're not satisfied with our leaders. Nobody's catching it on the other end and like, okay, it's time to elevate this conversation on what these people are saying. You know what we're more interested in? And I believe that every one of us is guilty in this space. Hobnobbing with the leaders, like, okay, so who is the next absolute failure who has failed these people that we're going to continue being friends with and continue trying to, be all of that with? Oh, who is the next northern person that is the best to run something? The best help we can give to northern Nigeria is to, number one, humanize the people there. Number two, expand the conversation. It might not be our favorite part of the country right now. It might be the place that I've been getting these people, this. But the talk needs to happen, because if we're not having that talk, anytime we're having EndSars and we're not having that talk, somebody is talking to them. Somebody's in the mosque telling them that, look, Southerners are doing this. And it's absolutely not the fault of the average Northerner that somebody is in the mosque telling them that. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you're not there telling them the importance of a protest, and it doesn't have to be you, there are other people who share the same beliefs that can do it. We can organize around it. How do we ensure that northern Nigeria is a part of the conversation? That is also leaning into the issues that speak to the average Northerner, leaning into the specific injustice that the average Northerner feels, listening to the average Northerner, platforming. I have a friend, Jamil Mabai. Jamil Mabai, and Jamil, I'm really sorry if I'm throwing you under the bus with this conversation. And he was a journalist, and he was just going around with his broken phone, all of those things, like detailing what was happening. And for once I saw it, I was so excited. We were not friends before that, but then I saw what he was doing. I was like, nah, this person. That was the first journalist that I saw that his specific interest was the voice of the average Hausa man in the villages. And when I say village, oh my God, you have not seen. It's not your Ibadan village. It's abject poverty. It's abject poverty we're talking about here. This guy was going there and putting his camera in front of the people and asking them, talking to them. Of course, the establishment, the media on the other end in northern Nigeria was putting the mic in front of bandits. In fact, it became like some heroic thing. This bandit has been the one holding this space for many years. Somebody say he has a long and esteemed career. I don't know if people saw that one in banditry. So he has a long career. He's the one that took this romanticization of these things while downing the voices of people we should be hearing from. And Jamil did that. And we started making efforts. We talked to people, please, this organization, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Till an international organization took notice. And Jamil called to say, Ndi, I have never seen dollars in my life. These people paid me for my news. These people actually gave me so amount every time I go into these villages. I can't believe it. What has happened now? If you see the change in Jamil's life, the quality of equipment he can use to go and shoot, the things he's able to do, and more news is coming out from that angle. That is what you do for the conversation in northern Nigeria. We are hearing vigilantes, we're hearing young people, Hausa communities talking and talking and talking, and we're not pushing it forward. People don't even know they're talking. I'm hearing, I'm sure you're not hearing, so let me not say we. We need to do more. How do we penetrate northern Nigeria? How do we organize around that? How do we give them a sense of, okay, we all belong here, not an us versus them. The one that will say, if Kamunkarba government, then what can they do? Or we own government while not being any part of the government that is owned. How do we change the narrative in northern Nigeria? These are key issues that matter to me. I think I'll leave it here. We can speak to stronger systems, but that is not a conversation around organizing and what is the way forward. I would also just the last 5 minutes speak to what's the word? Political participation. Of course, this conversation is not strictly for us here. I don't think there'll be any political party leaders here. But the truth is, especially post 20th October 2020, something died in young Nigerians. The pull for EndSars was a sense of ownership. You know, I remember in Louis Edet's house, police headquarters, when we gathered there, when older activists came, and you know, these Gen Z children, 20-something, born in 96 and co. They know the hair word. I've not seen that. I thought I was stubborn, but nah, this generation, they are the real. If there's something more than coconut head, there's rock head. They know the hair word. And so an activist will show up like, we do not come here for people, so that you people will go and use our gathering here to make money. They chase them away. Even known names today that are still doing, say, EndSars, they were chased away at Louis Edet's house. And because young people believed, they felt like this was our own thing. They were not showing up because of somebody. It's not Ndikato that called protest. It's not Dejade Andrew that called protest. They showed up because this protest had no leader. It means that they were leaders. That they came there and they shouted enough. They will be heard. It's not somebody saying something on their behalf. They will be heard. And that is how we got emotional investment in that protest. Not we, I'm just saying generally, not as a we or we set out to do that. No. That was how emotional investment in the protest was gotten. People felt a sense of ownership. Even within political parties, as powerful as I got as a young woman who could get powerful, there was still that sense of every day you have to wake up and it's me, oh guys, I'm the one who speaks on behalf of the party. I should be in this meeting now. I'm the one, all of these things I've done for, I should qualify for this. We should be the ones. A lift has come out. You have forgotten young people again. It takes away a sense of ownership. So if there is anything that we should speak to, it's good to tell us to register to vote. It's lovely. We are going to register to vote. But the number one thing that is keeping young people out is a lack of personal investment in this process. We are going to register to vote, but for them, in quote, who are they? People who we feel have nothing in common with, which was a practical flaw of the last PDP presidential elections. That right at the time that they were going to the presidential election, they chose spokespersons for the presidential election. And none of these people were people that young people could relate to. No sense of ownership, no sense of belonging, no sense of anything. And we're entering another political year and we're telling young people again, participate. But it's the same young people, they don't.
Indy, I think maybe our VPN is gone.
Yeah, I think I've VPN, but she will
yeah, just give a few minutes, yes.
Oh, we can't relate to this person. You can't see them. Sorry, I'm sure I have a warning for time at this point. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You could go another 10 minutes and then you could just round up and then we ask questions. So go ahead.
Yes, let us say APC have every plan to rig elections. Okay, the opposition, if PDP is being sincere that they want to win this thing, they want young people, all of you come with us. What is the thing they are doing to get the emotional investment of young Nigerians who are primarily the voters now? Nothing. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody is going to comment, I would like to hear it. Nothing. So how can we ensure these parties understand this? Because working with older politicians, I've realized a lot of cluelessness. You have no idea. But that is the major conversation. That towards 2023, you are not telling a person who has seen repeated shots thrown at them for trying to exercise their rights as citizens that, oh, come and exercise this right for the same group of people without feeling a sense of ownership in that system. And we need to harvest that sense of ownership. But we can't harvest it with mere rhetorics. We can't harvest it with insincerity. We have to be honest with ourselves. Unless Gen Z, millennials, young Nigerians feel a sense of ownership in the political space in Nigeria, they will not participate. Unless, not just beyond feelings, they get that sense of ownership that all of us, they here, everything will amount to zero. Unless the political leaders understand that they are not seeing us as mentees. All of us, they inside here, when I don't mess up, we don't mess up, and we're all trying to fix this. Young people will not be invested. So I'm throwing this out there that the central conversation, when they tell us to get our voters card, we must shout back, what is our collective investment, our generation in this? What is our generation like? What is it? What is in it for us in this? And how do we move from there? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Kato. You said a lot of good points. And I think basically I love your take from the northern side and stuff, also with Niger for, because maybe like it or not, half of the problem we have in Nigeria today is from the north. From high school, out of children, child marriages, child voter, religious extremism, terrorism, banditry, illiteracy, and of course, poverty. I think we had someone a few weeks ago that was talking about war and poverty. And if we can solve that solution, war and poverty, it will take us a long way. But thank you very much indeed. You said a lot this afternoon. I really appreciate your time, even though, you don't blast me for DM. I understand that fact, but we really appreciate you very much indeed. Mr. Tosin, do you want to say a few things before I take the speakers to ask our few questions?
Okay, yeah. Undikato, thank you. Undikato, thanks so much for that presentation. And as usual, I learned a lot. This one I was of listening to you speak. And one major point that I was able to take away from that fact is that political process participation. Like Shoni Bede said, we can't be on the road protesting every day, but we should have other means to keep our protests in action. So political participation is also a protest means in action. When you participate in the process, you register to vote, you can actually influence what happens at the end of the day. And when you have people that are like-minded, if you have them in political space, they will be able to help us champion our cause. Because like some nonsense happening at the toll gate, I'm seeing some videos police are shooting tear gas, chasing people. And I said, okay, this is the madness I talked about. Sanwo-Olu will open, Sanwo-Olu, Buhari, Oshiba, all of them, they will open their mouth and say that, 5 for 5, we have made their demands. You have met our demand, and the same thing that happened last year is happening today. It is disgraceful. Nigeria is having a president that does not even know what to do. We have a vice president that calls himself a pastor. This man is a professor of law. This man is a senior grade of Nigeria. Meanwhile, this is their administration has witnessed the highest level of lawlessness ever. They don't respect the courts. They don't respect the law. They don't care. They do whatever they want. If you like, shout from morning to evening. It's a misfortune. It's in fact, it's a pandemic on its own. And it will be unfortunate for us to have this same level of error come 2023. Look at the tweet I shared in this space. When was killed during the last EndSars protest, he made a video of a politician shooting at protesters. The man that was shooting is not a member of the Tinubu campaign. And I was like, okay, no problem. Election is coming. We're going to ask Tinubu, what's your take on EndSars? We've seen his video where he was saying, those people at the top gate, what were they doing there, among other mindless statements. And I'm saying it, nobody should be scared. The worst is death. The worst is death. And see, well, all of us will die one day. We are just buying time. However, we must not live a life of coward. We have to say the truth to power. We have to say the truth to power. Nigeria is in a very shameful state. Nearly, all my friends are always calling me, those I want to get my transcripts from the school. I want to get my transcript. Everybody's traveling. They are traveling. If everyone travels, who remains in the country? People are traveling because they've lost hope in the country. People are traveling because they don't believe in the country. People are traveling because there is nothing to inspire them anymore. People are traveling because they don't want to be victim of bad governance that is currently institutionalized in Nigeria. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no better time for us to keep the conversation going than now, and we'll continue to keep the conversation going. EndSars, it's a lifetime project for us. I said something, we had a pre-discuss space this morning, and I mentioned this when I said, see, EndSars is an idea whose time has come. However, sadly, the people in power thought that, if they block the toll gates, they will not talk about it anymore. I said it's a joke. And I gave an example. I said the people that are chanting the cause of Biafra today, they were not even alive when they had the Biafra war. Some of them were born like 10 years after the war, but they read books, they read articles. However, our own will be more crazier than that, because some people that they will give birth to in 2023 or 2024, they will wake up, they will see videos, they will see articles, they will listen to record and everything. So if you say, okay, no problem, you want to kill our own generation, kill us now. The generation coming after us, they have this thing in print and in videos to watch. They know the role everybody will play. They will remember that there used to be one crackhead called Segun Awosanya that described our protest as an insurrection. Yes, today again he did the same nonsense. They will wake up, they will see that story, they will read it. They will read about the politicians that came on, somebody like Atiku. Atiku spent the whole of yesterday celebrating Gowon. Today he's missing in action. Atiku will be acting like somebody that Buhari is using remote control to dictate his life. He will choose when to speak and not when to speak, as if if we speak, that is the end of his life. President Gali was on this platform yesterday. He has spoken. Because that's what Akishu is saying this morning. And all things being equal, want to have show tonight. People need to speak. You cannot tell me that you don't want to speak about EndSars. Like, are you joking? You don't want to speak about something that consumed people like me? Then you must be a very useless person. And I'm saying we must not miss word. We have to call them their name. If they are useless, let them know they are useless. If they are foolish, let them know they are foolish. Akmale ni His Excellency, sir. His Excellency, ma. You can never be an excellent person when you are a useless person. You can't be two. You must be one out of two. And I wish our youth can be as awake as all of us as Undi is. Because some we still go on the same and say, no, this person should not contest. You should go for senator. You should go for councillor. These same people
be carrying Atiku up and down. They'll be carrying Tinubu, carrying Buhari up and down. Oh, but you want Mogalu to go and contest for councillor, or you want Showore to go and contest for House of Assembly. It's craziness. I was born in the year 1980. While I was in 1993, I was born in 1991. 1993 was the first time I still contested for president in Nigeria. I am 30 years old, I'm still contesting. Is that not be juju be that? It's a problem. This is my sounds funny, but we're in trouble if we don't know. A country like United Kingdom, between 1991, okay, let's say between 1993 and now, UK have had close to about 10 prime ministers. Yeah,
sorry to break you, but like if I can take my question, I actually run an organization.
No, don't worry, we'll take questions. Just give me 1 minute.
This dilutes what I have said before people can ask me questions.
Okay, no problem. Just 1 minute, 1 second. Let me just round up. The UK, they've had a lot of leaders, but our own we are still recycling. It's a problem. Let me just stop here. Let's only take our questions, sir.
I'm just gonna 3 people gonna give questions to her quickly, and then Indy will answer all at once, so she can just go. Sister Rekia is gonna go first, just 1 minute, please. Then after that, Impress Lokuman, and after that, Mr. Toy. Just 1 question, please, 1 minute, and then Sister Indy can answer the questions at once. Yeah, Sister Rekia, go ahead, please, quickly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Olomo. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rekia. Mr. Indeed, sorry if I'm not getting your name correctly, but I understand where you're coming from, and I understand the point.
My name is Indi Kato. Indi. I'm from Southern Kaduna. Full name Indi Obadao.
Okay, it's fine. I'm also from the north. I'm from what you call the Connaughts. That is Kano to be precise. I understand where you're coming from, and but one thing I want us all to understand is that when it comes to the northern issues, I think it's a very, very sensitive one that we need to approach it with a whole lot of caution. I actually don't live in the north. I don't think I've ever lived in the north for like close to 2 months or 3 months or so. I lived all my life in Lagos because this is where I grew up and this is where I was born. So when it comes to the northern issue, I think we need to approach because it's a very, very sensitive issue because religion is involved for us in the north. And concerning what you said, you said that in the north that they are producing weapons, that is guns. I can tell you that when it comes to producing weapons, it's not just in the north. There's some other parts of Nigeria, which I will not want to mention the region or the states. The kind of weapons these guys produce there, which even anybody can have access to it locally, you will not believe it. Like I said, I will not mention the state and I will not mention the region. So I think when it comes to the northern issue, I think we need to approach it with we just need to approach it with caution because it's a very, very sensitive one and a dicey one. I'm also pained by what is happening in the north because, like I did said before on this platform, that almost half of the problem of Nigeria is from the north. And I'm just this person that I'm not because maybe probably I'm from the north. I'm always okay. It's a northern problem. It's the west problem. I just feel like we should all come together. If the youth from the north has problem, then the youth from the east and the west should join hands together. We should all act like we are one Nigeria. If the youth in the east too has some problems, we should all come together to solve this problem. If the youth from the west too have some problems, we should all come together and solve it. Because I know that as for this EndSars issue, I know that most people that are more participants are mostly from the west and a little bit of the east and some few south states. Yes. We from the north were not like fully participant because we just had this anger that, when this was happening to us, nobody was there. When this was happening to us, nobody's there. It's just simply because when there's a problem in one part of the region, some other part of the region will come out to support. So I feel like we should all come together and support each other like we did always preach, one Nigeria. So thank you. I hit the mic.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ricky. I appreciate that. Next time you hit the mic, it comes with a fine. Don't forget that. Impress Lokuman. 1 minute quickly, sir. Go ahead. Thank you. Impress Lokuman? Okay, let me go to Mr. Toy. Mr. Toy, go ahead quickly, please, sir. Thank you. Mr. Toy.
Hi, Olomo. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the space. Thank you, Indy, for that fearless and well-detailed explanation of our problems. You talked about consequences, which is massive because Nigeria, we never have any consequences for what happens. I mean, Fela's mother was thrown down from the staircase. I mean, from two-story building. We don't know who killed her till today. The Attorney General was also killed in Nigeria. We don't know. Chibolaike, we don't know till today what happened. So how do we get to that situation where we are able to hold leaders accountable? Looking at the struggle we have and trying to compare it with the American Black Civil Rights Movement. Martin Luther King had this I Had a Dream speech in the 60s. It took till 2008 to have someone like Obama. How long do you think we have? And looking at it to say where we are now to where we want to be, how long do we think we have so we can understand the kind of war that we have in our hands to get Nigeria to where we want it to be? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toy. Mrs. Mushab, the mic is yours quickly, please. Just 1 minute, please. Mrs. Mushab. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, go ahead quickly, please. Just 1 minute, please. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. It's a privilege being on this platform. Yeah, I want to ask Indi Katu. Mine is more like a contribution just to expatiate on what she has said. She mentioned the fact that people are not being taken to action for what they have done. And that's exactly the bane of the problem Nigeria has. Right now, you find that people are trying to more like excuse themselves. Political actors are trying to more like excuse themselves from the problem and push the problem to another, say, arm of government. I believe that all political actors have a role to play in the problem that we have in Nigeria right now. The massive unemployment going on in Nigeria, all of them have a role to play because they are the ones controlling the resources that belong to the country. But what we find is that they deflect most of the time. What I want to encourage all of us, because we are in different parts of the world, different parts of Nigeria, as we join this particular platform. Why is it possible for the youth to more like, as in, bring their conscience to the fact that no political actor should be spared in terms of accountability? Starting from the councillor to the chairman, because they have some resources. If they are not accountable for those resources, some people will suffer. Take, for instance, a chairman is meant to take care of a primary school in the LGA. If he doesn't do that, the people of that environment will suffer the consequence. The primary health centers in the LGA, if it's not taken care of, the people in that community will suffer. So we need to do this, and we need to take it and expand it till the presidency. But we should not excuse if not one single political actor. That's one. Then secondly, I believe, honestly, that, to be honest, the youths are hungry, and we have every reason to be angry. In fact, it is just like we are just picked this day as a reason to be angry. But to be honest with you, we have many things to be angry about. Many things that has happened in the country. So I wouldn't want to take much of your time, but I really wanted to touch on, re-emphasize the accountability part of it, as in taking our political actors to action as regards the responsibility that they have to Nigerian youth. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Shep. Sister Indikato, the mic is yours.
Okay, I think this is why these questions should be taken one after the other. So I remember his question, but the question before his, Oluomo, can you remind me the question before his, so I just combined the two?
The one from Taib.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I thought you're writing it down. Mr. Toy,
No, not writing it down.
can you just ask the question again, Mr. Toy? Sorry, sir.
My question was about talking about consequences, and we should be able to hold our leaders to consequences. You know, like we have the issue with our leaders keeping foreign accounts, consequences. And how long do we have? When will we be able to get in Nigeria of our dreams? Considering it took several decades for other countries to be able to take that revolutionary step. We must not be naive about it. But how long do we have, considering what she has seen so far in our works?
Okay, thank you so much. Consequences, I think that was a conversation I also had with what's the name of this TV station? They profiled some of us for Nigeria at 60 last year, and I said that was the one thing I wanted to see. I'm quite the nihilist, I'll say. So if I say my mind as to what I think consequences will be, I'll be out of my house before the end of this conversation into somewhere nobody will hear from me. So let's keep my deep thoughts quiet and just keep it politically correct. I do think that one of the things, again, is deplatforming, right? If there's nothing, yes, we can take to the streets. We also have to take other critical, concrete steps to ensure that people like this feel the effect of what they have done. So consequences, when we say deplatforming, and you know a state where somebody is genocidal, where a person who used to gist tweet on Twitter, who was a major voice in northern Nigeria, has disappeared. But spaces that are considered spaces for freedom, right? Spaces that are considered literary spaces, our most intellectual spaces, and I do tend to say this all the time, that Nigerian intellectuals are a fraud. Spaces like that continue to give these people platforms for one excuse or the other, and would not just give them platforms, but are willing to fight on the TL for why they gave these platforms. And I don't think we pursue these things enough. So one person is willing to use their platform that is getting international recognition to give the governor of a state where thousands and thousands of people have died, and he's aware and allegedly has some hand in it, and are willing to give that person a platform, right? If they are willing to give, please hold on. And if you're willing to give this person a platform, the rest of us will call. We'll quarrel and then we'll finish and then just go back. So what are we doing about people who are, the consequences should spiral, right? It should trickle down. It's not just a genocidal maniac that should get consequences. It's people who still decide to give sides to, or who still decide to platform, that should get consequences. Or are we going to sit and say, hey, it's my friend, look, I have no hand in this, consequences should be a thing all round. When we're looking at these things, like at any point, no, this is my job and this is this. No, these are where consequences come. If you think of the smallest thing, even a seat in church, it's consequence. Somebody was the deputy to a governor in my state. He was a well-respected politician. Well-respected. When I tell you, if Barnabas, what is his son? God, he died this year. What's the former governor of Kaduna State? Barnabas something, sorry, the second name has skipped for me. And he was one of the most loved. Like, if anybody from Southern Kaduna will make it to governor, it was going to be him. Barnabas Bantex. And once he got in bed with Erufai, please figuratively, the respect died so much that living there, he retired. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that is the right thing to do. To come from a place where I don't mess up, I no go talk again. I'm just going to stay back. We still keep seeing places where we are still going to, you don't know what this man can do for you. You don't know, yes, we want to cut him, but not so much. We want to do this, but not so much. We all have to take stock. I'm talking, I'm a work in progress. So I'm not saying it from a point of righteousness or anything. No, we are all guilty. So consequences should start from that. Consequences should start from the platform. If anybody is serious and they're telling this group of people are corrupt and they are the ones that have finished Nigeria, we don't really want to be seeing them. Is that not why Twitter silenced Donald Trump? Is that not why some places, I remember in the last election when they said they will not cover him in serious areas again. That is how to deplatform. That is consequences. But we've not learned that. And I think it's something major we need to learn. Some people say do not extend it to their children, all of those things. No, extend it. Be petty. We need to show that this is a thing. Like, shame is a concept within Nigeria, and it really is not. We'll finish, and then we'll see our people that we are hailing, doings, hanging out with cops that just carried out genocidal acts in Imo. And you tell them, this guy will attend this person party. Is it not the same police that led the killing of many boys in Imo just this month? And so, like, the same person that is going to fight you for that has been fighting Buhari. The consequences have to be all round. It has to be for the minute thing. People should be afraid to be part of this system, and they are not afraid. They should be scared to be part of this injustice, and they are not. The fear should not even come from, the method of kill them. No, there should be shame. There should be something. But we are all tied into that. One day it might be me. My hustle might pay, and we're not doing it. So my consequences is, look, number one is the platforming, introducing the concept of shame. Remove it from sex tapes and put it in places where it matters. Introduce a concept of shame. Introduce a concept, a trickle-down concept. Your papa do them, all of you. Let's hear from the family. It will be a deterrent. Do something. Let them feel it at least in one place, somewhere. We need to diversify our protest methods. That is the concept for me. There is more than one way. Taking to the streets is excellent, and we must continue to do that. But we must also meet them in several other places. We must overwhelm them as they're overwhelming us with injustice. That is consequences for me. Keep throwing it. Let it get to the point that, before a person thinks about it, that person will shiver. For now, there's so much comfort in thinking about doling out injustice in Nigeria, and everything surrounded around it. There's so much comfort, and we need to take that comfort away.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Indicato. We really appreciate your contribution and everything. Please let me just say this: for those that want to ask her more questions, you actually need to tweet your question so that she can answer it. We'll be taking just one question more, then we'll bring on board our last speaker. Our last speaker is and yeah, at that moment, that's her name, that's her Twitter handle, but her name is Obianu Joiloya. So basically, she is like a first-hand victim of police brutality. I know some of us are so familiar with the case of CSP James Nwanfo in Anambra State. Their family is one of the victims, and for years they are still demanding for justice. The Anambra State judicial panel has even they've played a very terrible role. They've not considered their case, neither have they given them a voice. And on a day like this, we just want to hear from her, just for her to just share her experience with us, and for us to also, because we need to hear stories like this, so that when people are coming to tell you that, this never happened, that never happened, you have to point, okay, no problem. If you say this never happened, go and ask this person, go and ask that person. So, and also, because we have limited time, we are going to shut down this space by 2 p.m., max 2 p.m., because we have another thing by 9 p.m. and people need to just relax, and so I won't spend the whole day talking. I will still keep people till 9 p.m. So I will just take Olomo. Hello, Olomo.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. So what we just do now? We just take one more person to ask in the question, 1 minute question, response of about 2 minutes. Then we can take the last. Then Udi can give us closing remark. Our own closing remark in about 2 minutes. Then we can have Queen Loaya as our last speaker.
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
We're just gonna take one person and then Undi, because she has to shoot off as well. So, Mr.
Yes, one person, 1 minute, 1 minute question, 2 minute answer. Then Undi can give us closing remark with the answer. Then we can have our last speaker, so that by 2 p.m. we can shut down. Then we can close. We can have the EndSars grand finale by 9 p.m. tonight. Thank you.
No problem. Mr. Dexpro, the mic is yours. Go ahead, sir. Thank you. Mr. Dexpro, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Olomo, and thank you for the space itself. I want to pick something about the lady that spoke about Kaduna. She said she's a northerner, and she advised that we should talk about one Nigeria and the whole thing. so we can propagate that. Now, at this present state, I left a space that was 30 minutes ago, and it was one of the speaker said, I'm going to quote him now. We've been saying one Nigeria for the past how many years now? Is it working for us? No. So we need another option. So the one Nigeria of a thing at this right moment, we need to check another option for us. So one Nigeria, we are done with the one Nigeria. At the moment, we need another solution to that. Thank you so much. That's my closing remark.
Thank you very much. Sister Indy, can you go ahead with that answer, please?
As with many other young people, many people of this generation, I'm not particularly invested in the oneness of Nigeria as I am with the sanctity of the Nigerian life. And I believe that the conversation we're having right now, I mean, we have that restructure and divide Nigeria conversation, but the conversation we're having right now is for our future. And I know that that is a great part of our future. But right now, we are very focused on the sanctity of our lives and how that can, how we can ensure that that is a thing. How we can ensure that the country we are collecting. So I get it. I get that. We may not want the kind of country we want now. I want restructuring. I know that this method is not working. And all of that is part of the solutions, yes. But again, today's conversation is primarily on this. We have reached 1 year memorial for EndSars. And how do we ensure that this kind of thing does not happen again? How do we ensure that we get towards a better nation? I don't think that I have the time to expand on within the current context of Nigeria, the current whatever it is that Nigeria is a business arrangement and it's surviving on the blood and lives of Nigerians. That's a very extended conversation and one I'm willing to have for hours, to be honest. But this is quite different. So today's focus for me is the sanctity of the Nigerian life and how we can ensure the sanctity of the Nigerian life, number one, and ensure that all of us within this space now, reluctant, that is within the Nigerian space, whether we are reluctantly Nigerian, happily Nigerian, whatever part of it, or even ignorantly Nigerian, whatever it is, right now, the conversation today is the sanctity of our lives. And how we can ensure that, look, we are running this thing and ensuring that things go smoothly. I think that is what we're here to do today, and I can't really expand on that other conversation right now. Thank you. Do I just...
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Please, Adam Mommy, can you please make a request? Okay, over to you, Lomo.
Okay. Thank you very much, Indicato. I know you're a very busy woman. Thank you very much for taking your busy schedule out to come and answer a few questions from us this afternoon. But yeah, we're glad to have you. We appreciate you. And like I said, one of the few Nigerian women that I can say yes, good enough to be the president of this country in the near future. But yeah, thank you very much indeed. We appreciate you. If you know